I loved it. Absolutely loved it. However, inside of me, I knew I had a passion, and I was really curious of why people get results and some people don't. I started becoming, really wanted to know more. And then I started really educating myself on personal development, spirituality, growth, mindset. I was educating myself. And what I realised at that time, I'd ask somebody else who's their opinion, what do you think? And then I was realising they was giving me advice based on where they was in life. And a lot of that was fear-based. Oh, I wouldn't do that. Or what are you going to do? What if you fail? But then I looked at that when I looked at their life, I think, well, are they experiencing financial freedom, abundance, love, happiness, joy, or peace? And if they wasn't, I think, well, that's just their opinion. And so then I thought, well, I looked at the gurus in life that was experiencing the kind of results that I wanted. So that's when I started educating myself. I started following the people. I done my research. I was educating myself. And I loved what I was learning. I was doing it for me so that I could then, when I learned and I was experienced the freedom and the choices that I wanted, I could then teach that to others. And I think as Daxi came along, it was so easy. It was educational. And from the heart, I was making heart-based decision intuitively. Does this sit with me? Does it align with my core values? Will it help and educate others? All of them boxes were ticking, and that's how I got into the Daxi. And and as I say to everyone, I'm not just saying it's the best place to be. It's safe, it's secure, it's friendly, and it's educational, and that's where I came from.
So I can see a few questions have popped up in the comments. So for those who don't know, Daxi puts out huge amounts of free resources, whether it's webinars like this. We do a Crypto for Beginners session, which is not a sales pitch. It's about crypto as an industry, how to keep yourself safe, what's going on in the market right now. We have loads of meetups like this that are more informal. So you can find them on our daxi.com website, has an events page. So all free, no obligation. You can take 1,000 hours of education from us at no cost. We'd be very happy to see you. So I want to come to you, Nikki, if that's okay. So I think we've definitely got some synergy on the group here that they were not financial background. Oh, sorry, do you know what? Sorry, back up. I've got one question more to ask Laurie. Sorry, Laurie.
Yeah.
So without putting any numbers on it, because I'm just very mindful of your privacy. So you've been doing crypto for a number of years. Mm-hmm. For you to have earned in 1 year in crypto, the gains that you found, I'm not asking you what they are, of course. Yeah. How many years of working in your family business would you have needed to make the same wealth? Very roughly. I haven't prepped this question. I just thought it was a really good question to ask you.
Great question, isn't it? Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah. And now you're freezing. So we're all waiting for the answer.
10 years.
10 years. So you reckon you can earn in 1 year of crypto what it would have taken you to earn 10? Okay, interesting. Wow. I don't want to ask you more because, and you've achieved that. And
that's a food for thought, isn't it? Everyone's probably wondering, what does she earn now?
Yeah, no one else's business, but I know there's been some lovely first-class flights, which is wonderful. So sorry, Nikki, I just stole your thunder, lovely. So Nikki, I want to come to you. So obviously, probably of everyone on this call, you had the most numeric background, you were involved, you have worked for some financial businesses, you're regulation based, you've done training, you're very much a detail person, which is great. I know you weren't a crypto expert or an investing expert, but I think you had some sort of mathematical skills. And of course, some sort of risk-based skills, because as we're always, working out where's the risk, where's the reward, am I comfortable, how much money do I want to put into this? I suppose the question is, what's the worst case scenario? What are the pitfalls? How to keep yourself? Let's look at it from a negative point of view. How have you mitigated that risk yourself? Because I know you're very super detail focused.
Yeah, I think initially the things that you need to be aware of is that there are a lot of scams out there, number one. Number two, I think when you start doing your research, you have to be very aware because, again, there are many exchanges. So the exchanges are the ones that through whom you can buy and sell cryptocurrency, okay? So again, you have exchanges in weird and far-flung places, you know, so very dubious exchanges as well. So it's absolutely key to do research on any company you get involved in terms of their location, in terms of their security rating, their presence in the country they're in, their bank account, and so on. So I think that's absolutely key in terms of the pitfalls. And also, what else can I think of to tell you there? I mean, I think, again, it comes back to education, Catherine, for me. You know, the more educated you and the more research you do and the more education around crypto, because I had somebody contacting me, I think it was yesterday or today actually, and they just said, I'm really nervous about crypto. And I said, I completely understand that. However, this is where the education is so key, is that when you educate yourself and when you know what to look for in terms of the exchanges, as I say, the security ratings, you know, also another big pitfall is if you like, and you can store crypto in different ways. So you can store it on a secure exchange, or you can even store it on, you know, a little external device, if you will. And there's been to date £4 million of Bitcoin lost simply
4 million Bitcoin. No, it's 4 million individual Bitcoin actually.
Sorry, yeah.
Individual.
Of these little devices, or people have forgotten their passwords. You know, because the passwords can be anything up to like 25 characters, you know, or even longer. So how is anybody going to remember that? They'll put it somewhere, they'll lose it. And there's so much that has already been lost. So, you know, those are the pitfalls, the actual where to store it, how to store it safely, the exchanges, and really around where those exchanges are located.
Yeah, sure. And I think we do a lot of work around putting out how to keep yourselves safe and how you can check security rating on exchanges. There's very few that have an A+ rating. We thankfully are one. Thanks for that, Nikki. So Claire, can I come to you? I know you started talking a little bit about, I suppose, risk prevention. You feel the buck stops with you. I suppose, you know, what scares you when you're investing, kind of what is at the back of your mind? I mean, like you, I'm a single parent, so the buck stops with me too. So I'm always thinking, is this the best thing for my family life? Is this, you know, building my wealth? Am I comfortable with what I'm taking on? So can you just talk around some of those conversations that are happening in your head?
Yeah, sure. So certainly, you know, I can relate to what a lot of you are saying, and certainly you, Sarah, at the beginning as well, when you had that conversation with your dad, and you were like, you know, is this, you know, am I the kind of person that does this, right? Like, there's this kind of thing that this is, you know, for men in suits in banks who know what they're doing, and I'm just, you know, a woman running around doing the school run, trying to make ends meet, going like, you know, now this is something else I've got to look at, right? So there was a massive element of confidence. Can I get this? Can I understand this? Is this going to be for me? Am I going to literally put everything on the line and lose it for my children, right? There was a massive confidence crisis. And interestingly, though, for you, Sarah, it was your dad who brought this to your attention and said, you know, hey, come on, girl, let's look at this. We'll do this together. When I spoke to my mum about this, right, she was really negative. She was sending me newspaper articles to tell me why I shouldn't do this. She was sending me newspaper articles about all the things that are wrong with cryptocurrency. And then when I spoke to my son, who was 18, he was like, Mom, why are you doing that with your money? Like, it doesn't exist. It's just in the ether. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, you know what? I've done some research on this. I've done some research about potential, how the markets may go, you know, soon in the future. Like, what is the future for currency generally, right? I've done some research around this. And so for me, I feel it is one of the safest places to put my money right now. But the point that I'm making is that we are up against, and Laurie, you mentioned this a little bit at the beginning as well, other people's negative beliefs, other people's mindset, other people's interpretations. That has been one of my biggest stumbling blocks. It's not actually me getting out of my own way. It's falling back into that sort of people-pleasing behavior. It's falling back into that You know, am I a good mum? It's falling back into that small egotistical mindset. And so shifting out of that, looking at that bigger picture, coming to talk to people like you, Catherine, having the facts in front of me, like you're saying, Nikki, getting that education, you know, having the numbers in front of you, listening to those webinars as often as you need to, like that then puts your mind at rest. That quietens all that negative mind chatter, all that crap, for want of a better word, that other people are piling on your shoulders. Right? We don't need that to make decisions, right? Women, we are strong, empowered, intelligent enough to stand up and make our own decisions.
Amen. So I think I just want to come back. Linda Scott very kindly asked us a question earlier, which didn't quite sort of fit into the section, but it does very much relate to what you're saying. So Linda asked me a question about essentially, you know, what's crypto based on. So I think that you have to always ask the experts. So at Daxi, I feel we're the only industry that allows you access to people that know what they're talking about. So I am regularly in the press talking about crypto. I'm regularly online. We do Q&A. Nothing is prepped. There's no question that I won't answer or I'll tell you to email me or anything like that. So the people that say crypto is you know, it's not a real thing, you're out your mind, you know, when your mum says, oh my goodness, are you sure you want to do that? So there are a huge number of coins. There's 7,000 coins. The vast majority of those coins are hazardous to your health. So one of the education processes we do is talk about which coins are solid and stable and doing well. And those are the blue chips: Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. Bitcoin obviously is the poster child. And interestingly, she asked a great question, which is, there's people that say crypto is not based on anything. Is it just out of thin air? And it's not based on a physical thing such as mining. So interesting, you do mine Bitcoin, so that's quite an interesting choice of words. So when you understand there's only a fixed number of Bitcoin available, which is 21 million, the vast majority are either mined, about 18.5 million, 4 million are lost, as Nikki quite rightly says. It's anti-inflationary, and without giving you a 20-minute economics lecture, there's a lot going on. I was personally horrified to see the BBC reporting that inflation isn't that bad at the moment. The reason why the figures don't look that bad is because they're based on things like air travel. Who's been on a plane in the last 6 months? I haven't. It's based on eating out. That was real cheap during the week for most of August. So the inflation is about to hit, and that's obviously not good for savers. And I think, look, one of the things we find is that there's a real myth that women are risk adverse. So going back to that Fidelity study where women were massively outperforming men, you know, a 1% difference, that's absolutely huge. And it's actually not true that women are risk adverse. A lot of research shows that women are more conservative investors typically. They are risk aware. Risk aware and risk adverse are completely different things. If you listen to what Claire and Nikki are saying, they're saying educate yourself, be aware, understand what's going on. And I think, look, for the single parent community or the single women community, you know, you have to be really focused on that. So look, I just want to finish with a couple other questions that we were asked. And sorry, I'm coming back to you, Claire, because you were really passionate when we had a conversation about this the other day. I want to talk about how your relationship status affects your attitude to investing in crypto. So I am joyfully divorced. I feel much lighter now. I've had 17.5 stone of dead weight lifted from my life. So I'm not someone that's embarrassed to be divorced. I am really, really, you know, beside myself, excited to be divorced. And I listen to loads of women that have left relationships. I know that Laurie was talking about that. Claire, would you mind repeating what you said the other day about dating and sort of getting that synchronicity on Financial Outlet? Would you mind just talking about that quickly?
Just going to shut the door.
This is going to be really juicy, everybody. This is hot off the press.
I'll try and not get too passionate. You can see I get passionate about all of it. So
just have a rating. Like you know,
obviously, I'm also, you know, happily divorced, right? And you know, you go on dates afterwards, you know, and you know, you meet people at a certain time in your life, and everybody has this baggage, right? We're not all starting off at 19 and going through life together, you know. And so the thing is as well, I think this is even more reason you don't know necessarily what the other person is bringing to the table, so to speak. And it's not, you know, it's not your job to necessarily convert them to your way of thinking and doing things, right? And also the thing is, on dating websites and things like that, you don't necessarily know the truth. Right? Some, you know, we've all seen those pictures of people posing by their planes and posing by their cars, and, you know, they don't necessarily own those things. Now, they might own those things, they might not own those things, they might have owned them and sold them, it might be a mate's, whatever, who knows, right? So I think that more than ever, not to fall in that trap of having to be with somebody because they give you a sense of financial stability. I think you have to be solid, like, in yourself, right? So for example, not just with cryptocurrency, you know, but with making sure that, you know, your will is organized, right? That the names on the mortgage, on your deeds, like, get it all sorted out. And, you know, for our female entrepreneurs and multi, you know, 6-figure, 7-figure entrepreneurs, you know, even have some kind of prenuptial agreement if you're really, you know, going down that road with a guy. Because seriously, like, you know, why do they suddenly take half your money? I don't get it. They haven't earned the privilege, right? They haven't gone through the journey with you, right? And the thing is as well, you know, for me, it's very important bringing up boys, right, that they understand that an empowered woman can earn her own money, and not to worry about that, right? Not to worry about that. Not to think, I need to earn more than her, she needs to earn more than me. There's all sorts of different ways to have families now. My sister, for example, she runs a very successful business, and it's her husband who looks after their daughter.
Oh, wow.
So there's, you know, there's none of this old traditional family, bring your girls up to be like this, bring your boys up to be like this. No, we can be successful women, they can be successful men. And I think that then you're both bringing this different mindset to the table. So then you rise as a family, you grow together, you educate and inspire each other, right? And like you're saying, Nikki, you diversify. So I'll put some of my money in here, you put some of your money in there, you've got that property, we'll rent out that property. Let's work together to make the money work for us.
Thank you. I have a really good idea for a startup, which is credit checking people you're dating. So I need to work out how that's GDPR, but I feel like that potentially would be a really, really good start. So look, I want to come to you, Laura, if that's okay. I know you talked about finding yourself sort of single later in life. Can I ask you about how that's informed, you know, your inspiration to get into crypto?
I think what that's done is when I look around in the world and I see other women, single and men, you know, and they feel lost or stuck or disempowered, they just feel they're in fear of they don't know how to step out. They don't know how to provide for themselves. They're in so much fear. Yeah, they can be frozen by it. And I work with them. I see a lot of people. I just get to that place, or they're in a place where they're not happy in the relationship, but they want to leave. But then they say, oh yeah, but I can't because. So for me, it's about where I was in that place of feeling like a little bit like coming out of a relationship. I took the step, I educated myself, and I took the action step, and I then now want to empower other women to do the same thing. And you know what? We can all, if we just listen to the people and live in the dream and been on that journey, they're the best people to listen to. And you have no idea what's on the other side. You just got to take action and step out of your comfort zone. Because what you want and you're doing is not in your comfort zone. So you've got to be willing to be uncomfortable, to do something different. And you know what? You will live, you can just ask yourself, what would I love? And if so, ask yourself now, would I love to invest in crypto? See what comes back to you.
I think one of the things that I've noticed, particularly in women in sort of crypto and why they're investing and where they're at relationship wise. I hear from a lot of women that are having their money as a rainy day, bit of a disaster fund, sometimes called the FU backup plan. Again, no judgment, that works for a lot of women. And look, how many successful women do you know that have ended up with men that just haven't, as Claire says, been on the same page financially? So look, I want to kind of extend that conversation about how does crypto fit into being a parent. I know obviously, Claire, you've talked a lot about wanting to be a good example for your children. So I have a 7-year-old son. He watches me look at crypto every day. We'll go out and have a meal during the summer holidays, and I'll say, you know, oh, so that was paid for because crypto's gone up today, or mummy, what's the target for Ethereum today? So Daxi is not a trading business where you can trade with our platform, but most people use it to hold crypto. But he's starting to show interest in, you know, what's going on in that screen. He knows what the candles are. You know, he understands rate of return, which for a 7-year-old is not bad. So Sarah, I know you talked a little bit about your daughter. Again, what's kind of your thinking around the financial plans you're making? I mean, how's being a parent sort of affected that, if that's okay to ask?
Yeah, sure. So I just want to make sure that my daughter knows that she can have free choices to do whatever she likes to do. She doesn't have to conform to the norm. I don't want her to be miserable. I don't want her to follow the same path as everyone. I want her to do what she wants to do. So I think, it's funny, when you were talking earlier, I think, Claire, you were talking about, teaching your sons and stuff. The schools don't teach a lot about financial education. They don't, give a lot. And it's important for us as parents to then actually teach our children about that. And for me, I think, personally, I feel that if I didn't teach my daughter about, how to manage finances and teach her a little bit about digital assets, then it would be pretty irresponsible of me as we were moving towards a sort of cashless society. So I want her to know that there are definitely lots of alternative, smarter ways to make money that don't, follow the traditional path, basically.
And look, I know, Laurie, your daughter is a little bit older than Cyrus. Can I ask you, because your daughter into crypto, would that be correct?
Both of them are, yes. My daughters, I was started when their dad passed, and so as a mum, I was growing up, as started to get into the personal development. I was educating them on, on future, where to put and how the world worked. So when the dad passed, they was left some money, and I said, well, rather than being in the bank, I started teaching her about crypto. So they've both invested in it, back well over a year ago. And they're loving it. They're sitting there. They've done it, I think, because they trusted me, and I'm their mum. If you say that, and then all of a sudden I remember getting the text from one of my daughters who's a little bit skeptical in the beginning. She didn't know. Her wallets were up, and one day she looked and she went, "I'm sorry for this." She went, "Holy fucking!" Sorry for swearing, but but it was lovely because I think she was a bit like, she didn't believe it, and she was even scared to look at her wallet. Much she went, and no, they're invested more, and they recommend it to all their friends. And as mum, we just want what's best for our children. What I always say, why wait when you're young? Don't wait. What conditions don't have to change. Do it now. Just educate yourself step by step, and I think that's what Dax is given them. They read the emails occasionally, not all the time. I might suggest it. And then they look at their wallets and they're like, okay, this may be working. And then they put a bit more in, and they're now having that financial security and freedom. And you know what more could you want for your children? And that's all I've ever wanted. And everything I do from my heart, I want other people to experience this. It's in the morning, perhaps help others have financial security, streams of income like Ciara does, Claire, Nikki, all of us. We're doing it because we have this experience, and that's where the place that I'm coming from.
Excellent. Thanks, Laurie. That's great. So look, I want to finish on one question. So I don't know a woman, whether she's single, married, divorced, young or old, I don't know a woman who's not busy. I think we're multitaskers. I think we click on everything. I think we really struggle to say no. I think the word people pleasing has come up in the last hour more than once. I just think it's a really interesting question to say, how does crypto fit into your day-to-day life? I think Sarah says something about crypto's working for me when I'm asleep. So I have a very full-time job for Daxi as MD. I'm often on calls at 7 or 8 in the morning. I'm often still on calls because of the time difference. We have a head office the other side of the world between 8 and midnight. I have a 7-year-old. I go to the gym 4 days a week. I do stupid things like run marathons for children's charities. I've got a horse riding career where I've competed all over the world. So I am super, super busy. So for me, the crypto has just been a very nice thing to sort of park over there, a bit like Laurie was saying for her daughters. I park it, obviously I work in crypto. This is my third blockchain business. And I do keep an eye on it, but I'm not, looking at it, all day, every day. So I think I just want to come to you, Nikki, because I know that Nikki, you, I think, have the most, I think out of everyone who's speaking today, I think you have the most amount of businesses currently on the go, which is amazing. So talk to us about how have you fitted crypto in your day-to-day life, and has it changed your day-to-day life?
So for me, again, Catherine, it's all about keeping up to date with what's going on, because things change so rapidly. And this space has got a lot of bad press, and so you have to kind of really find your way with things. So to keep on top of it, being part of a community of people who are not only like-minded, but have the same interest and, the same goals really, is absolutely key. So that is why I show up on the 9 o'clock call every day, just to hear what's going on, to understand what's been happening in the last 24 hours, so that I in turn can educate those other people that, I have introduced to crypto, because it can be a complex subject. And so I will tell you that it's part of my day-to-day life, and I learn something new every single day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't learn something new. I have been involved for over a year, even last night on the Ask Me Anything call. I learned something new, or I heard it said in a different way. And it was like, now I get what that means. So it's really about listening to different perspectives, showing up, I do what I can. I am very busy. I've got a few things on the go, but for me, this is my absolute passion, to see other people thrive. And that comes through the coaching, whether that's crypto coaching, whether that's normal, one-to-one coaching, group coaching. I want to see people absolutely thrive. And this for me is why I keep my finger on the pulse every day, because it is a complex subject and it warrants your time to be investing, to understand and learn. So I hope that answers the question.
Great, thanks, Nikki. And look, may I ask the same thing to you, Sarah? I think you've just muted yourself. So I think of everyone on the call, you have the second most amount of businesses on the go. So I know that you're split across a couple of different interests. How do you find crypto fits into your day-to-day life, and how do you keep those plates spinning across three, pretty unrelated industries?
Honestly, now for me, it's easy. It's easy. My other business is basically helping other people create more wealth as well. So I find that to talk about Daxi while I'm talking to others is just really easy to fit in, because it sort of, goes alongside what I do anyway. So I just speak about it to people, and it's very simple. And I feel like the world is sort of waking up to lots of things. They are realizing that, we're heading towards a sort of like cashless society. The future is crypto. So I do tend to get a lot of messages and people reaching out to me to ask me about it. So I do find it really easy because it's something I can just slot into my diary. You know, I've got a conversation here and there, and it can be quite social, which is really why I enjoy it as well, because it's not sort of regimented. Nobody's breathing down my neck telling me what to do. Really, really simple to do it. You know, I can fit it in so easily.
Excellent, good stuff. Okay, guys, well, look, that concludes the questions that I had to pose to all our speakers. So thank you so much to Sarah, Claire, Nikki and Laurie for giving up your time and for just, you know, so much amazing content about the success you're having, how you've done it, why you've done it, and how to get involved. So just to recap, Daxi has loads of resources. We have ebooks, we have webinars, we have special coaches that can talk you through crypto. I think a lot of people were invited by the people. Some people I know have found us through some Facebook advertising, which is fantastic. So look, hopefully that has given you all some food for thought. We try not to make these too technical or too full of figures or God forbid a sales pitch. So please join us online. If you look at our website, which is daxi.com, you'll see forthcoming events. Myself and the other speakers are going to stay online for a little bit. We're just going to chin wag. I'm out of wine now. This is just water, so obviously this can't go on too much longer. I'm told to keep them to an hour. And I'm going to stop recording just so we can answer any questions for people that might not want to be seen live. So I've stopped recording.